All right. We are back Tuesday night. It's definitely a bit weird getting into the streaming on Tuesday night, but I got a feeling that once Lego Masters is finished, I'm just going to keep this slot, free at night and just keep on building more Lego. Keep adding to my stream days. Why not? Why not? Dan, how much time do you stream a week now?
2 if I'm lucky, or if I want to.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Wednesdays on the raid train, and at the moment I'm doing 2 shifts on the raid train.
Yeah,
and then some Friday mornings. But like, to be fair, the more I get busy with other things, probably the less streaming I'll end up doing.
Okay.
I don't know. It's changed for me, man. The whole everything has changed, and I'm finding it difficult getting back into things. And
it's funny you say that because we're about to have our first show in a gazillion years come up in October, Bill? September.
Yeah.
The bigger one. And like, I'm actually, we're going to wait for the weekend and Bill's going to have a chat to him. But, I'm desperate and keen and excited to go and stream live from the show. Kind of like how you did when I went to New Zealand. You know what I mean?
Yes.
How we did the prevention.
I don't even do that anymore. I don't stream live from the shows anymore because, like, to be honest, the audience was super tiny and no one bothered. I think it'd probably be worth doing a couple of short mobile streams from a show.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm just not convinced that the long format ones. Well, but then again, I haven't done that since like 2019. So a lot has changed. Yeah. A lot has changed in that 2 years.
I think an early morning roving stream is good because those that are nearby and can still get tickets, that might motivate them to come in the afternoon or the next day.
And then Brickvention, right? We're obviously going to do Brickvention 23. Early morning roving, maybe a few little, tours through the day, and then definitely the drunken AFOL night.
Yeah, for sure.
Jakey, how are you, buddy? It's the ballsy show, mate. It's the big ballsy show.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and come over for BV next year.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we don't live in Melbourne. You could, I'd offer you a place here to stay, but we'll work something out down there.
I'll probably just stay the last time we came over, which was 2020, I think.
2019.
No, I think it was 2020. It was like literally the month before the pandemic.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
We didn't go because we were going to New York the month later. Were going to New York.
Yes.
I thought you were at that Brickvention.
That was 2019.
No, I've got a 2020 badge as well. And
do we?
Yeah. Yep. 2020 was the rainbow one.
Oh, 2019 might have been. No, that was Canberra. No, where was the dig in the window one? The undies in the window.
The drive-through window between the two bedrooms.
Definitely 2020. My Brickvention badge is 2020.
Actually, no, yeah, correct. You are
and
correct.
2017.
Because we were already popular and had the Lego Masters and all that,
Yeah, because remember that we were streaming on you were streaming and Alex was sitting there building the Batmobile half the time.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Johnny, is there still Lego stuff to talk about? There's always going to be Lego stuff to talk about, especially which I can't mention today, but let's just say that I saw a set that sounds like
Ooh.
Yeah. That's safe enough. We'll leave it at that. All right, let's talk Lego Masters Australia.
I read a rumor today that the incoming pyramid is only half a pyramid.
Yes, and you can put two together to build one.
Well played, Lego. Make us buy two.
Who bought 2 Rome Colosseums?
No idiot.
Dan. That was your fault, Bilsy.
Where'd he go? Oh, yeah.
You cut out because you talked about the set.
I was talking about geometry.
Sure you were. Get on Facebook. Tell him to come back. Don't be a crybaby. All right. Let's talk Lego Masters Episode 5, of course. We're finished. You clown. You're the biggest fucking clown. Get back in here. All right. It was the cut in half. The cut in half build.
Yep.
First off, let's talk. I just hide it. Bring him back in. Hide it here. All right. I've never seen. Now I've been to almost every Brickman show. I've never seen this ship before. Like, obviously he's built it for the show, but I dig it. I really like it.
It is a cool build.
I thought I had seen this somewhere before, but I don't know where. Or it could have been something similar on somewhere else. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
But at his previous shows, he's done the Titanic, and he's also done a P&O or a car.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen them. It probably was original for the show because he does like original work.
I think this is a new build, and we're all just thinking of the bigger ones he's done previous.
So while we're watching this, is it name that tune, Smoke on the Water, or? All right, so yes, it was. Hold on, let's see what people have. The waves, ice. The waves, they are cool. I mean, Brickman knows how to build. Him and his 17 workers. Harder build than it looks. Yeah, I mean, cut in half builds are definitely hard. How do I get all these effing ads when I'm subbed? I don't know, man. What ads are you getting? Oh, through Twitch. I haven't got them turned on, I think. We'll worry about that later.
Are you getting mid-rolls or pre-rolls?
Yeah.
Probably get pre-rolls. You can still get pre-rolls when you sub if it's turned on, but mid-rolls you shouldn't be getting.
I just get fat rolls.
Yeah, I've got plenty of fat rolls.
I'll turn them off. I mean, the run ad break button's grayed out on my Twitch back end, but we'll worry about that after. Dave, what we're also wrong. Also wrong about what, mate? Interesting. Midway
maybe Brickman didn't build it. Maybe Dave did.
That's probably what he's talking about.
Yeah, yours, Dave. Wow, but there's not a Pokemon in it.
There you go. It was in the Brickman Awesome Expo.
Yeah, I thought so. You had seen it somewhere.
I haven't. Maybe just because always when I think of him and boats, that big Snaps Titanic takes, the priority. It's friggin' awesome. All right. So yes, you all know what cut in half build is. Build one side really nice and polished, and then cut it in half. Now let's start. Miffy, how are you?
It's kind of like a city set.
Let's start with the boys. They obviously, watching it last night, they went down the dragon route. They got a little bit of a pushback against, build something different. Don't stick to dragons. I think the build's awesome. I think it looks really cool as a story, even like from this side. I think
it is awesome.
They did really, really well.
It does make sense to, build to your strengths and stick to what you know, but you also, like Brickman said, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself as only being able to do that.
No, and they pretty much almost have. And by looking in the promos on the commercials, it looks like they may have done it again too. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But there's the other side of it.
But everyone that they've done so far, every character, critter, dragon, beast, they've all been different.
Oh, totally.
Yep.
Totally different.
Yep. So
they're not building the same dragon each time, definitely.
No, but how much of the dragon input comes from Henry, though?
Yeah.
So what's interesting with this one is if you have a look at how it's cut in half, it's not flat. It hasn't been dissected. And there were other teams that got pulled up on not having a perfect dissection. This one doesn't look perfectly dissected, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this was the one with the arm taken off the minifig.
Yeah, but like those rails that are running along that first floor there and the chains, you imagine that in a mirror format, and that's not going to work because you couldn't join them together.
That's right.
The tail with the swords, you're not going to have two swords side by side. It's not a mirror format, if you know what I mean. That's what it should be. cut in half.
G'day, Rick.
Yeah. I think that you're right. They tend to overlook some of those little things based on the story and what they want to show.
Yeah, and it's the same with the building. The building's not cut in half either. It's like a playset. It's that polished, but that wouldn't be a mirror version of that building cut in half. You've got those round shields there. You've got the dragon head at the top, and it just annoyed me that stuff didn't get pulled up on this build, but it did get pulled up on other builds.
Yeah,
unless it did on the day and they just cut it out in editing. But yeah, you're right. They obviously never got points for it, and it showed in the end. Take away the cut in half. I love the whole fact that it's got the guts and the gas and the flame and that's cool.
I like the angle they've done it on too. A lot of people, when they get carried away with mocking, they keep everything perfectly level or perfectly square. And I love that they've gone away from that and they've got it on an angle as if it's pouncing or landing or what have you.
Yeah. So great build. Missed the brief by a long shot.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. The boys with the bone. The boner boys. Mega bone boys.
As to quote Hamish, you boys are in the bone zone.
The bone zone. Cool idea for a vet. Shape of a bone. Why not?
Yeah.
Not bad. And it gave them obviously plenty of room to do their stories inside for what it was. Yep. I mean, they ticked the brief. You could tell straight away what you can't fault it as far as competition and episode went.
No, and look at the building. It looks like a dissection of a building.
Perfect clean
You
cut.
could imagine the other half of that building and the other half of the rooms.
Yeah.
So it was a good meeting of the brief, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
It had a lot of little stories too. Like each room has something to entice you. It was like the fridge from the previous channel. Every shelf had a different something going on. This vet is very similar.
Yeah, and the classic gags, the CAT scan, the lab tests. Had to do it.
They done very well.
Real dad jokes, but they worked.
Yeah,
and I love the sheep. I shouldn't have said that.
That's a lot of sheep. Paul and Trent definitely did well on that one. The rocket ship.
Kind of looks like a pencil.
Yeah, it
does look like a pencil.
Never thought about that. It does look like a pencil.
Yeah, if these guys had have stuck with this or come up with this idea from the beginning and not wasted 2 hours or 3 hours or however much time they had, this one could have been a much better build. I think that's the problem, eh? You get stuck in that. You get that early idea, that early mindset.
I think that's the best call Brent has ever made. It's the other way around in New Zealand, though. The bones usually go inside the sheep, not the sheep in the bone.
I can read, eh?
Oh no! I just had to say it for people that watch us on their phone that don't want to squint, so I can just reiterate.
Oh, did you have to say that for all the Australian people that can't read?
Yeah.
No, it's for the podcast.
Yes, that's what it's for. It's for the edited radio edit. Back to the pencil / rocket. Agreed. You obviously ran out of time filling in. This could have had as much layers and stories as the bone did, for sure.
Oh, easy.
But that's that's the case. You're under pressure, under pump. You're under time constraints. It's always that panic, and now damn what it's like firsthand.
I do know what it's like firsthand, and the hardest thing is that minute that they lay down the challenge, and you expect your brain to jump into hyperdrive, and it shuts down.
Yep.
And coming up with the ideas is freaking hard in that situation. I'm not going to lie. It was like, seriously, you walk out of the studio and you're like, oh, fucking ideas for Africa. The minute you step in that studio and they lay down the challenge, shut down.
And you know what? It's scripted like that. It's a reason like it's done like that. And
well, it's a competition, right? It's a reality TV show. It's not meant to be easy.
No. The girls 1800.
This is the one where I think they got. I think they were harshly criticized about the roof. When you look at some of those other builds,
Yeah. Because everything else is perfect.
Yeah, I think Brickman was trying to go with the fact that they've put the roof there, so it's not cut in half, it's the back of the building. But I just think that for him to criticize this, there should have been consistency in criticizing everything for the same reason, you know? And that's the one thing that sort of gets me is like when you criticize one thing for one, but you leave it off something else, there's no consistency.
That's a fair comment, 100% fair comment. And you know, I agree, but you know, you go for the old hotel. You again, you can have your own little stories in all the different rooms. And you know, like with everybody else, clearly time was an issue. You run out of time, you run out of ideas. What do you do next, type thing? But I think they did okay. Definitely would have knocked it.
I think that side of it is perfect. I think the front is a little bit boring.
Okay. I see what you're saying, but you know, if you're calling that boring, then what do you call that?
Yeah, that's actually worse on the inside than the outside. Definitely is. I don't know, but see, me as a city builder or a building builder, I'm very finicky on the architecture and the detail. So that mansion to me is a bit too plain.
Yeah,
but that's only a personal
this
opinion.
This is where the competition comes down to it. Like, you're going to spend all your time making your city and your front so highly detailed, you're missing the brief of the half-cut story.
Well, that's exactly right. When I spend time on a mock, I could spend a day on it. I could spend a month on it. So you don't get that luxury and that pressure. Absolutely. I also think that they did the furniture, the decorations, and the stories inside perfectly. Like there was one close up there where one of the rooms had like the full moose head and everything, and it was just like that is right era for that hotel. It's just really well done. You know, like the 4 poster beds and everything. It's done so well inside.
I
think a bit done by on the roof.
I think the interior of that was really good.
They might have got away with the roof if they took out a brick or two and just put a little rat in there so that you could see into the roof, and maybe there was a partition wall or something.
Yeah, good point.
I guess the thing is that it's like everything on every single episode in any of these shows. If the Brickman comes up and says something, you should listen.
You 100% need to listen. Yep.
And he did come in and say, hey, look, you know, what's up with this roof piece here? And she made up some story or whatever. She could have just taken it out, right?
Just rip it out. Yep.
And the thing with the boys one is maybe he didn't look at it or didn't see it for symmetry because it was so good.
Yeah. So without any spoilers at all, but the exact same thing will happen in tonight's episode too. He offers someone advice and they just straight away go, and go with what they were doing anyway.
Yeah. Unless he says you're not going to finish that DeLorean, then you should keep going. Well, I mean, you know, Dan's right. Like, you go back to the episode we got eliminated. Brickman literally said, do not build that T-Rex head.
Yep.
See you later, boys.
Yep.
You know, you can't make the host look bad.
No.
End of story.
Yeah.
There's a difference between making the host look bad and proving the host wrong because you have a faith in your ability. But you have to know that you are, you know, and I take that back to season 2, I think it was, or maybe 3, where the boys built that tower and Brickman did the calculation, was like, nope, you're never going to lay that many bricks. And they did, right?
Yeah.
They didn't alter. They stuck with their plan and they laid the bricks. They proved him wrong. Brickman admitted that he was wrong.
Wasn't that the cop that Brickman comment? Wasn't that where that come from?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But you've got to, you know, as much as I know Ryan, he will give credit where credit's due.
Oh, for sure. 100%. But if he's right, he's going to push the fact.
Oh, absolutely. And so he should.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Don't we all love a little bit of told you so? I get told I told you so all the time, every day by my wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day she'll tell me something. Told you so. She doesn't even have to. She just gives me the look, mate.
How can a judge go around and give ideas and know who builds what? I think that the judge shouldn't know who did what. Oh, that's a different argument for a different day. But yeah, I mean, blind tests after, especially with Lego, after the second episode, you're gonna pick that person's skill, design, taste, style, XYZ. You know what I mean? So it's pointless unless you're doing it straight off the bat for a couple of episodes. But
not just that, but hanging around in the same room, same studio, you tend to bond with people too. And once you bond, you will overlook minor details. You know, like, and Brickman may not have even noticed that stuff because he had that expectation, or he had that bond or banter with those boys. So that comes into it as well.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to you probably don't know is that the whole time that you're building, the crew and the judge is watching on monitors in their own
30
spaces.
People watching. It's not just one. Yeah.
So that's not just the time that they're in the studio. No. They are watching you. Like that, quite often, they actually leave set and they'll watch you from the monitors in the control room.
Yep.
You know, so they're watching how you're building things. You know, they're watching your techniques.
They're listening on mics.
And listening.
If you whisper, "Oh shit, I fucked that up," guarantee 10 seconds later, there's 3 cameras on you. Oh, you stuffed that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not silly. They are not silly.
So that's when you deliberately leave your mic on and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You have no choice. You have to physically turn your own mic off if you don't want them to hear you go into the bathroom.
Yeah. Brent, how many camera operators they have going one time?
I feel sorry for the soundies, man.
I'll find a photo. So every desk, let me find it. Actually, there should be one of these. You'll be able to see it. Every desk has a camera. They only have them in the build photo, the build desks. Let me find here. So if you look, there's a tiger tape color box.
Yeah.
See that little box?
Yeah.
If you look closely, there's a little lens, and then there's your
the camera.
So there's a camera on every table.
Table cam.
Yep. And then there's always 3 or 4 camera guys running around on one side of the room, then they'll change other side of the room. Then there's dollies that fly up and down. Plus there's cameras in the roof. Like you wouldn't be able to count the amount of camera operators that are in there at any one time, man.
Yet there's not a single Lego Master contestant that didn't come home with pockets full of Lego.
Yeah, and it was that's right. And there's the jib, overhead cam in the brick pit. When you think about it, like we did some maths for ours, and we thought about how many hours of building and how many camera ops, how many desk cams, how many overhead cams, jib cam, and then figured out how many hundreds of hours of footage they must have had for each episode to then cut that down to like 45 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Freaking hundreds of hours of footage and audio to cut down to 45 minutes.
Here we go. Here's the best example I could possibly show you.
Oh yeah. Camera.
So that was when me and Kale were building one of the competition challenge ones. So, there's 3 guys on steady cams. See the big hook? There's a camera top down view sitting up there. There's a camera on a big dolly mount right here, plus the desk cams. So, there's no, like if you look at Guyan and Danushi, it was never like that. There's always crowds, always crowds. It would. It'd be exactly like that. Brickles with COVID, just with masks.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you that for sure. All of the studio crew were in studio, and they were separated then from control crew. And so they had their own pods of workers, and basically for us. And all the everyone, they all wore masks all the time. I never saw any of the crew in set take their mask off. And it was weird. It was kind of weird when you were outside and you were heading home for the day or coming in the morning, and you saw these people walk in and you're like, who the hell is it? Oh shit, that's the camera guy. Honestly, I'm serious. If I'm going to meet any of these guys outside of bloody Lego Masters, I'm going to have to cover like this, because it was weird. It was actually kind of weird working with these people for days and then not seeing their faces. It was odd.
There you go. All right, we'll keep moving on. Space Station, loved it.
Yeah, it was sick. It was a good build.
It was had the stories, was flat cut, and actually looked, where that other photo I had, actually looked fantastic from
the front.
The front.
Yeah. Now, I am going to have a bit of a whinge here about the judging on this one, because they got called up for that literal overhang on the backside of a bit of slime, which was, I'm picking like 2 or 3 1x1 bricks or something like that. It was next to nothing.
That's right.
And he picked on it. I'm like, really? See that top left?
Yeah.
Top left. It's not and he even said, it's not a perfect cut. You have this bit of slime hanging over. And I'm like, really?
Yeah. At order we just seen out of the dragon. Come on, man.
Bruh
with a UH. No, but yeah, well done to Caleb. Absolutely weapon of a build. And obviously had enough time to pretty up the front.
Yeah. They did a good job.
Alex, Caleb, well done. Moving on. Second last team, the robot and the building. Now again, building, like you said, Bilsy, it's a quite of a boring building, but to add that with that robot, sick.
Yeah, big risk having 2 big items though.
Yeah, and then you've got to try and explain why the robot. Oh, mind you, the robot was the robot's just standing in front of the building. Was it level with it though?
It was supposed to be punching through the building, but then Brickman said, "How are you going to have that cut in half?"
Yeah.
It needs to be next to it, so they were on the same laser cut line.
I would have liked to have seen these guys just concentrate on the robot, get rid of the building altogether, and make a bigger robot, like a 3 feet tall robot.
Well, have you seen, and credit to him, Kale had the robot at Brickvention?
Yeah.
And that was
with the lily.
That was a decent
with its little lily flower.
Yeah. But yeah, so cool build. Really fucked the brief. Sorry, really stuffed the brief. With the misaligned.
Yeah.
Let's open this picture. Yeah. Cool build, a couple of cool stories in there, but yeah, they unfortunately did miss that one. If you built the robot bigger, chunkier, put stuff in his arms and legs, then that's cool.
Yeah, could have had like all the minifigures inside operating the robot, working the mechanisms and things.
Yeah, the legs are out of proportion to the torso. There's a good 3 feet gap between those legs.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, that's all right. And then now obviously on to, the winning build, clearly the best bit. Like, they didn't even have to go crazy scale, but I did find it funny and interesting that, let me see if I can find another photo. Where's their base plate?
They didn't have one.
No.
Was
everybody was building to maximize their base plate.
But there was nothing to say they had to. It was literally just a cut in half challenge. So the rocket ship didn't have one.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, yeah, it did. Sorry.
Ridiculous.
It was Lady Robot. You love the fight. Good on you.
The base plate must have been a choice.
Well, but if you look, like literally everybody built to the base plate. Like even the dragon had the full base plate.
Maybe because technically the clock would hang on the wall rather than be on a base plate.
Everybody filled a base plate.
Yeah, well, maybe they all just assumed that you had to have a base plate, and these guys just went out of the box.
Smart play.
Yeah.
Smart play and deserve the win. If that's the hey, you know what, they obviously won. And obviously the question wasn't asked, but as an actual build, that clock, holy shit, how freaking good is it?
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Like they just did and you know what? Taking that base plate out, you've gone from what was it, 64 by 64, or probably even bigger base plate. They're down now to 16 by 32, a genuine half base plate. You can spend the time on the details and making it look like it's, legitimately cut in half and done like they did.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to know now whether base plate was just part of the brief or whether everyone else just decided that they thought that it had to be.
We'll have to ask them when we get it on.
There you go. 100 by 100. Actually, you know what? Dave, if anybody in the chat, Dave, knows, was it part of the brief? Like, did they just think outside the box and not assume, I guess, and by not assuming, well done. Like, what a move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they think outside of the box or outside of the clocks?
Both. I'm going to say, so for our audition, we had to do a build and there were base plates available, and we used a base plate for ours, and everyone I know that did as well. But the other team that auditioned with us did not use a base plate. And at our debrief, they were told they were the only teams that auditioned to have not used a base plate. So it's amazing how, I'm going to say an older builder, a middle-aged builder, as I am, late 40s, that we get so in tune to using base plates because we used them all as kids. And you get these less than 20-year-olds or 25-year-olds, I'm going to say, that didn't grow up in the base plate era, because the vast majority of sets in the last 20 years, apart from modular buildings, they don't utilize base plates.
Yeah.
And these young fellas, you never see them using base plates. You look at all those real sculpted castles and towers and forests and all those sorts of things. They all either build sideways or use brick building snot techniques to build the base. No one ever uses base plates.
Yeah.
Or the young fellas.
Conspiracy. Hot take. Lego's pushing anti-base plate agenda. Maybe. I mean,
I don't think Lego is doing that at all. They're still selling base plates and they're coming out with more of them, and it's just these young fellas.
You know what?
These young fellas don't constrain themselves.
And like we said, right? You look at this build and being so small with the detail, they obviously miss, as every episode does, misses the finer details in each episode, but it's just, for a brief, for a challenge, here's a clock, let's cut it down the middle. Far out. Impressed. Definitely impressed. I'm just trying to find, I thought I had there's not. I thought there was a better photo of the mechanism at the bottom I wanted to check out.
The mechanism in there was amazing as well.
Yeah. That's a base of sack. Good on you, Jason. Back in my day, we used base plates. Good on you, Jakey.
I think he's digging at me because Jake's a young fella.
Jake's younger than all of us.
He's a young lad.
It's a good take on an old challenge, the cut in half. Again, another challenge. I wish I had it. You wish you do have the cut in half, then going back through all the episodes that we've done so far to start it off without a city build for the dunk the water. Challenges are sick. Some of the builds are keeping up to it for standard for sure. Some are falling behind fast, and you can now see, we're in episode 5, you can now start to see the split of, okay, these guys have built, they got talent, to you just want your 15 minutes of fame, see you later, cheap jokes. So Yorgi, how are you, champion? Jakey, not going to lie, I grew up with Lego and with base plates, but goddamn, I do not like him. What are you talking about, man? You're still 14. You're still growing up. Aren't all city sets technically a cutaway? Well, I mean, you could I guess.
A lot of them are, yeah.
A lot of them are.
You could call that.
But they're not a perfect cutaway necessarily. So,
and then let's talk about the one I got in my background, the biggest cutaway of them all. Like, as Dave said, this has been in the Brickman's the awesome show, and mate, imagine sitting there and no one ever does, but you imagine actually going through square by square, level by level, the stories he's hidden in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's
especially
really
you've got 300 plus hours to build it.
Yeah.
You know, it's done, mate. You got to be impressed with half of it. I think. Oh, you know what? I think I do remember it. This might have been the one where he hides Is this one he hides all the green spacemen?
Yeah, he hid a bunch of figures around the shows, and one or two was in that boat.
Yeah. Why didn't he cut away the wave and show sea life? Hey.
Probably because it's a big steel frame under there.
Oh yeah, yeah, and yeah. Well, there's some sort of access panel there,
and because he doesn't judge himself,
mate. He doesn't need to, does he? Really?
It's such a cool model.
He earns the brick bucks.
It is a cool model.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, there's actually a show here on the Gold Coast at the moment, the Brictionary show. We still technically haven't gone to yet, Bill. We've probably seen most of the builds, but we should still go before it finishes.
Yeah, we should. Let's take a day off work and go.
Mate, I should ask him, see if we can just go and stream in there, mobile stream and walk around. I can't see him saying no.
We should.
So it's no secret, obviously, tonight is the bridge challenge. Disqualified Brickman. So for those that are in Australia, those that have the VPNs, however you're watching it, it is live now. It is just kicking off. It's just warming up to get into the bridge challenge. I have sent my requests out. Tomorrow on the raid train, we should have one of them. We should actually, if we tick all the boxes and you know all people's schedules line up, we should have a guest now every episode for the next 2-3 weeks, however long the show's going to keep going for. Question for you there, Dan?
Yep, but I don't know what I'm displaying yet, Andy. I haven't built anything yet, so got a month.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time considering you know how to build now in 8 hours.
Yeah, I just don't have the 2.5 million bricks to do it with. Or my brick buddy.
Douglas, I want a Lego Masters. Get all the certified Lego Master builders go up against each other.
Ooh.
It's not a bad.
That'd be fascinating. That'd be fascinating because they all have their own very distinct styles.
Yeah.
Very distinct styles and what they like and what they don't like. Like Ryan is very much about the storytelling and the minifigures. But you know, others around the world are all very much about sculptural or you know, just totally different. Yes, I am going to CBS, Karen. Again, don't know what I'm taking. Probably whatever I build for Wellington, which may be nothing. Who knows? But yeah, I am going down to CBS.
What about Robin? What's he specialize in?
He does like big sculptural stuff and does a lot of stuff in Duplo too, funnily enough.
Okay.
Karen, I hear you've got to show up Bopway like some stage, I hear. I was going to come up to that show a couple of years ago, then COVID killed it.
Got a question for you, Dan. Just thought of one.
Yo, what?
Now that you know you are literally going to be thrown in the thick of, you know, New Zealand Lego community more than you've ever been before. Obviously, you know you've been around for many years. You're one of the first, but now it's just going to be even more in your face. Do you now feel the need that you're going to have to go to every single show, every single event now?
I did anyway.
Yeah, but like, do you feel the need more now, or do you feel less? Like, you know what I mean? Like, not to go, but like, do you feel that it's on you being a Lego master now?
No.
There you go.
You've got to milk it while you can, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't need to though. I went to every show in 2019. I went to 13 shows in 2019. 13? And then COVID. Yeah, 13 in a year. And COVID killed it after that. So I've only done since 2019 to now, I think I've done maybe 4 or 5 shows. Not that many.
I don't know who that is, but you have a wicked Twitch name, Areola Grande. Hello to whoever you are. Jake, now he knows he can add a rider to his appearances. Hell yeah.
A good one. The only time that I've ever gotten a rider at a show was when I went down to Dunedin when Cade came over. And it wasn't as much as a rider as it was my friends and fans of my channel down there just looked after me and plied me with lots of Coke, no sugars, and M&Ms and licorice, which are my 3 favorite things. So yeah, it was nice. I got looked after well. Huh? Yeah. But I don't feel obligation to go to any more shows than I have in the past. I think I've always gone to the shows that I want to go to, that I want to support.
Yeah. Okay.
And I always, the only shows that I don't like going to and that I don't go to are ones that are run by commercial ventures. And over here, there was only ever one, but unfortunately, they've gone back to partnering with a commercial venture, which, in my opinion, it doesn't support the lug. So I don't tend to go to that one. Well, I haven't yet, but who knows? Yep, 2-day show, May 21st, 22nd. May 21st, 22nd. Got any space?
He's free.
Got any space? I've always wanted Bop Lug. See, Bop Lug, Karen's lug, is one lug that I have not done a show with yet, because they're a relatively new-ish lug, and there's some really cool builders up that way. So, yeah, I like to sort of try and support as many lugs as I can. Not that me going to a show is much support, if I'm being honest.
Well, it will be now.
Not really.
You say that. But come on, man. You flew to New Zealand. Come on. You know what it's going to be like.
Like I said, man, how do you know that I don't just pull a cheap jokes? No one ever remembers the...
Unless you're controversial. So let's hope you're controversial.
Nah, not really.
Let's hope you get in the TV weeks and the Take That's and the Women's Day and the,
Bro, we were in the Women's Day yesterday. It was weird. It was like the intro spread, introducing the teams. Like,
that's got to go in the same. That's got to go in the same container as your high school certificate, so you can tell your grandkids in 30 years that you play with toys on TV.
Hang on, what high school certificate are we talking about?
Yeah. Any, baby photo albums and that's where you got to slot that magazine in now.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, I think we're good. We don't need to give any more spoilers out for episode 5. I've noticed. We've still got 18 hanging around the room. So shout out to all the 18. If you haven't watched any of the episodes yet, and I know there's a couple of you that haven't, go and watch tonight's one. It was actually a genuine good laugh. It's a good build, good challenge.
I enjoyed it.
And I've noticed, and I think even Brickman said it, every bridge challenge in every country, in every season has always been the favorite. And tonight it matches. It's good. It keeps it interesting. That's for sure. Another one for you, Dan.
What stream times? Because they won't be affected by Lego Masters on New Zealand TV, because I stream Wednesday night and Friday morning, and Lego Masters is Monday night.
There you go. Happy days. Can't wait.
Although I'll have to add some post-show. What do we call this? Post-show critical analysis, where I can let everybody roast me for a change.
Oh, we will.
Oh, and I expect it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, we just we can't favor anyone, and now and because we've got that close, tight relationship, we can talk shit about you and not worry about any. Oh, oops, I hit the button again. No, actually, being open in the air about it, and what most people don't see in the background we talk about, we actually I should still try hit up TVNZ to see if I'm allowed to have you on. That's another thing as well. How far that end of it goes.
Yeah, well, my agreement with them was that I would still need to be able to continue with my content, and their agreement was that was fine, but I'm not allowed to obviously give away any of the episode
no, we're not interested in doing that
results or anything like that in advance. So
yeah,
just normal stuff. Obviously like this. If the show was the last night, we can talk about the show until we're blue in the face. But
and you know what? I reckon we'll have enough roasting and enough, opinions that we don't even need to bring sheep into it.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. All I want to say is I saw a comment on Facebook on the TVNZ post, and it said something along the lines of it was actually something that I got in trouble for way back when on this show, when Lego Masters was first talked about coming to New Zealand, and I said it better not be the poor second cousin version to Australia. Right?
That.
And then I may have said some other things.
Then you turned red and turned to the Hulk. Yep.
Green, so somebody said pretty much the same comment about just another poor
Aussie.
It was something along like it was something like just another poor attempt at a overseas show or something like that. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know who that person was, and they're not watching, but I'll tell you one thing: the production value and the quality is just as good. It will be just as good as Lego Masters.
You know what?
Australia.
I'm so happy to hear that, especially from you, the one that roasted it before it happened.
I was going to be the single biggest critic, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not even getting biased because I was involved. I can genuinely say that everything that I had involvement with, it seemed as though the production quality was as high as it could possibly be. The set was amazing. The brick pit was amazing.
At least we know
so far, what we've seen as far as graphics and sizzle reels that have come out, they've all been top quality. So I don't expect anything less than
last night. The intro promo, awesome.
Yep. So I don't expect there to be any less of a quality issue. The only thing, as we all know, there's only 6 teams in the New Zealand version. Yes. So we get slightly less teams, but that means just slightly less episodes. We have 9 instead of 12 or whatever it is.
We only had 9.
So, did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
We sure did. But I think season 4, at a massive guest, it's going to go more than any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at episode 6 and haven't even got a second elimination yet.
No, that's right.
Top six Brickles. Yeah, boy. Top 6 just for turning up, mate.
Mate, how does it feel to be top 6 of the Lego Masters in New Zealand? My man.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
You know what? I just really hope, and Dave, if you're still in the chat, which I doubt it, I really hope they call me back for Lego Masters All-Stars, if there's one. I want a second chance to embarrass myself.
I'll team up. I'll team up with you for All-Stars, bro.
Hell yeah, man.
I think there's a lot of people that would team up with him, actually.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few people that, hit me up that would be like, yeah, I'll go with you, man. I'll go with you. I'm like, hell yeah, I would. And hey, we know that Christmas special was a flop and COVID stuffed me up there and they asked me to come back. But, I would genuinely go back in. And especially now, I know 20 times more than I ever did on how to build Lego than I did back then too. So,
Do you even understand Lego though?
I understand Leppin that taught me about Lego, so we're sweet.
Yeah. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, we're good. I know that I'm a stud and that,
and I'm a block.
And we go together. We clutch.
Just don't clutch too hard.
Brickles, would I go back on with Kale? 100% in a heartbeat. Wouldn't even think about it.
Would Kale go back on with you?
Definitely not.
Oh, Not a chance.
Am I allowed
Not
back?
chance.
Oh yeah, Andy. They asked me to go back for last year's Christmas special, but COVID stopped the airplanes and closed our borders. So, Sato, Areola. No, not the Kale Show. No, it wouldn't bother me who I went back on with. It wouldn't matter if it was, even cheap jokes. I'd go and hang out with to go back on it again, just to be part of it again.
It's about time we brought something good looking onto the show.
When he double clutches, you got to be nervous. Good on you, Jason. I like Jason's one-liners tonight. He's on fire. Oh, here's your doggo. What's its name? What's his name? Her name?
Smudge.
Mudge.
Smudge.
Oh, Smudge.
Smudge. Look, a little smudge on her nose.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
Have you guys not seen Smudge before?
Yeah, we have.
Not on camera.
Oh, really?
On Instagram.
I don't think during stream. I think after stream.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On my Twitch stream, she'll often jump up on table.
That's where we might leave it. We'll finish it up there. Hold on, before we go, one last thing from Andy.
Did I enjoy the experience? Yes, most of it. Obviously, there was parts of it that were absolutely grueling.
Oh, it's a stressful competition. It has to be grueling.
And stressful and away from home and all the things. But would I do it again? In a heartbeat.
Yep.
As hard as it was. Don't know. What was the question? You cut out.
I said, what's the bit that when you won, was that the favorite bit?
What? Remember, there was no cash prize.
If there was a cash prize, Dan will be draped in gold, and
just getting on the show was a win.
Oh, cheese.
That's what they kept telling us.
As long as you believe it. All right, chat. We'll be back tomorrow night, 7:00. Yeah. Go and watch episode 6, The Bridge Build tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about it. See you then.